Hello everyone, my name is David Webb, and today we're going to be jumping right back into Lessons from the Light Thief with Chapter 12, with foreshadowing and the point of no return. Writers love to use foreshadowing. It's more or less where a writer gets to sit back and sing themselves, "I know something you don't know." But it's so much more than that, and that coy, snarky attitude really isn't the right approach to take when writing foreshadowing. Foreshadowing needs to add to the narrative. It can't just be the author sitting back and withholding information and teasing the reader. I'm not saying it's not okay to tease the reader. I do plenty of that myself. I just always make sure there's a purpose behind it and it adds to the story. I use foreshadowing in Chapter 12 of The Light Thief in exactly one paragraph, and in a blink and you'll miss it kind of way. The paragraph reads, "Anaya raised a hand to her face to rub her eyes, but stopped and stared at her skin. Her hand caught the light of the surrounding flame and reflected the warm orange glow, blinking and pulsing as the flames around her flickered erratically." If you're not just skimming the text, you'll never notice that there's something off here. The reader really isn't given any time to reflect on this information, but if I did my job right, there should be something in the back of the reader's mind that raises a little flag. Something that says, "Remember this." This foreshadowing used to be 3 paragraphs long and, in my opinion, a whole lot more obvious, so I toned it down for the final draft in a way that is a lot more subtle, but hopefully still effective. How does this serve the narrative? How does it improve the text? Well, it doesn't directly, at least not at first glance. I write most of my books with a high re-readability factor, meaning that if you read the entire series and then go back and start from the beginning, you'll catch a lot more things than you did the first time around because you have more context. I believe that most, if not all, series should be written this way, but it seems to be a dying and forgotten art that no one really does anymore. But I personally love it when I can rewatch a movie or show or reread a book and catch things a second time in a whole new way that give the book or the movie a whole different perspective. And so this example that I just gave is just one of many examples throughout The Light Thief. Things that either raise a subtle flag in the back of your mind or a detail that you just don't care about in your first read through, but then your jaw drops when you reread it the second time. Next up, we're going to talk about the point of no return. This is the part of the story that takes the hero from their ordinary world out into the unknown with no way of getting back, at least not to any kind of normal life. This is an important step because the reader now knows that the character has no way to go but forward. It adds momentum to the story. It's also important symbolically in most cases because it signifies the death of the old character and the beginning of a birth of a new one. In The Light Thief, I did exactly that. Textbook point of no return. Anaya is literally saying goodbye to everything she's ever known as she cremates her parents, burning her childhood home and leaving no home to go back to. And her emotional point of no return comes at the very last paragraph of Chapter 12, when she wipes away her tears and forces herself to stand tall. She is in no way over the death of her parents. She carries this with her throughout most of the series. However, she is forcing herself to focus on the task at hand, making herself leave her old life behind. However, as I stated earlier, this is not a complete birth of a new character. This is the beginning of a rebirth. A satisfying character arc starts at a status quo and then goes primarily in one direction, in this case down, and then keeps going that way until the emotional climax near the end of the book when things come to a head and there's a sudden reversal. And this is not an overarching rule. There are many different kinds of character arcs, but that's not the focus of this video. And so, Anaya's rebirth won't happen for quite some time, but it starts right here in Chapter 12 when she leaves behind her parents and her old home. That's going to be it for Chapter 12 today. For the next session, I'd like you to go ahead and read Chapters 13 and 14, because next time we're going to be talking about the confrontation with the villain. Thank you again for watching. My name is David Webb, and get some writing done.